Hello, and welcome to Unity Vancouver Island's pre-service meditation. My name is Don Giberson, and it's my honor to be your prayer guide today. If you are joining live, welcome. And if you're listening to the recording of this meditation, welcome as well. I invite you now to just take a moment to get still, and if it feels comfortable for you, to close your eyes. And allow your attention to focus on your breathing. And without trying to control it in any way, just observe and notice the easy, gentle rhythm of the air as it moves in and out, in and out. And as you focus on the breath, allow your body to relax. Allow your mind to still. And allow your emotions to become calm. As we focus on the breath, it brings us into the present moment. And now we focus on that inner place where we connect with spirit and are one with spirit. And what we are going to do this morning is a meditation called the Coherence Meditation from Heart Math Institute. And I invite you now to think about a time when someone expressed love or appreciation towards you, or a time when you expressed love or appreciation to someone else. And you might want to put a hand on your heart just to connect with that loving energy. And as you remember that experience, allow it to gently bring a smile to your face. And feeling into that space and energy of love. As you breathe in, imagine that you are breathing in through your heart. And imagine that as the breath passes through your heart, it is charged and infused with your unique loving energy. And as you breathe out, imagine sending that loving energy out to every cell in your body. Imagine your breath charged with your loving energy, filling every single nook and cranny and space of your body. Every cell and every space between the cells being bathed in your loving energy. And now as you breathe out, imagine that loving energy expanding out beyond your body, expanding out in all directions, growing and growing until it takes in the entire building that you are in, or if you are outside, the entire space around you. And as you breathe out, imagine every person, every animal, every plant, every living being, every living creature within that space being blessed and bathed by your loving energy as you send it out. Breathing out love and loving energy and having it being experienced and expressed, and having it being experienced and blessing every person, animal, plant within your space or within your building. And now as you breathe out, imagine that loving energy expanding yet again, moving out in all directions, east, west, north, south, above and below, expanding and expanding until the entire city or town that you're in is bathed in your loving energy. And once again, imagine every person, every living creature, every plant, tree, all of the water, the streams, the lakes, the rivers, all being bathed and blessed and transformed and healed by the loving energy that you are sending out. And once again, as you breathe out, imagine your loving energy expanding yet again, expanding to the east, to the west, to the north, to the south, above you and below you, expanding and expanding until it takes in the entire province or state that you live in. Imagine every cubic inch of your province or state being bathed in your loving energy. And imagine every person, every man, woman, child, every creature, every tree, plant, blade of grass, all of the water in the air, in the ground, in the rivers and lakes and streams, all being blessed and bathed, transformed and healed by your loving energy. And as you breathe out, once again, imagine that loving energy passing out and expanding in all directions once again, east and west, north and south, above and below, expanding and expanding and expanding until the entire country is bathed in your loving energy. And once again, imagine that loving energy as it expands. It transforms, heals, bathes, and blesses every person, every creature, every plant, tree, shrub, the air and the water, all of nature and all of God's creations being blessed, healed, and transformed by your loving energy. And now, once again, as you breathe out, imagine that loving energy expanding once more, moving in all directions, east and west, north and south, above you and below you, expanding and expanding until it takes in and envelops the entire continent. And once again, imagining every person, every creature, the air, the water, every plant, tree, shrub, blade of grass, all of nature being blessed, being bathed in your loving energy and being healed and transformed by the loving energy that you are sending out. And breathing out yet again, imagine that loving energy expanding and moving once more, expanding yet again to the east, to the west, to the north, to the south, above and below, expanding in all directions, expanding and expanding until the entire planet Earth is bathed and enveloped by your loving energy. And imagine again every person, creature, all of God's creations being bathed in, blessed by, healed, and transformed by your loving energy. And as you breathe out yet again, once more expand, imagine that loving energy expanding in all directions, expanding now beyond our planet, expanding out in all directions to take in the entire universe, so that the entire universe and all the planets and all the space in between is enveloped by your loving energy. And take a moment to just acknowledge the beauty and the sacredness of this time and this work, knowing that sending out this loving energy is healing and transforming our world. So take a moment now to just express your gratitude and start to gently bring your attention back to the current time and space, feeling the chair or the sofa or the bed beneath you, wiggling your fingers and your toes as you reconnect and reestablish your connection with your body and your physical presence. And when you are ready, open your eyes. And be here now. Thank you for joining me for this pre-service meditation. Whether if you're joining live, I invite you to get a drink, refresh your cup, and join us for our Sunday service experience. And if you're listening to the recording, I invite you to listen to the recording of today's service. Thank you once again for joining me for this pre-service meditation. Namaste.
We come together in this moment. We bind our hearts and minds, for we all form a tapestry woven from one life, one creation, undivided, all unique expressions of God. We come together now in one accord. We come together in this moment. We bind our hearts and minds, for we all form a tapestry woven from one life, one creation, undivided, all unique expressions of God. We come together now in one accord.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Thomas. And join me as we are grateful in this moment to celebrate our living, working, and playing on this wonderful indigenous land. For the keepers of this land, we are grateful. Haichka. Oops. Hi. As I wait for the next slide. It's okay. Welcome.
I think we heard that before.
Yes. Please join me for the vision of unity, a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones, we are the ones, we are. I've been feeling like I can't make a difference. I've been feeling like it ain't no use. Feeling tired and a little unconscious, coming up with every kind of excuse till I realize it's not all up to me. When we join together, we shape our destiny to see a world where we are living as one. It can be, it shall be, it will be done. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones, we are. Yes, we are the ones, we are. No one else gonna make the changes. No savior gonna drop from the sky. Nothing left to do but wake up, 'cause it's really up to you and I. Just take it one step at a time. Stand together with your hand in mine. Then we will see the world that we've been dreaming about. We need it now, the time is now, there is no doubt. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. Think light in the face of darkness. Think faith when you're lost at sea. Think good, for there is no evil in the world unless you think there ought to be. When you rule your mind, you rule your world. Think light, think faith, think good, think high when you're feeling low down. Think free when you want to fly. Think big if you want to grow up in the world, unless you think you'll never try. When you rule your mind, you rule your world. Think high, think free, think love, think life, full of vim and vigor. Think truth, let the spirit flow. Think love, and there will be love in all the world, unless you think you'll never know. When you rule your mind, you rule your world. Think life, think love, think love, think.
Hello again. This journey is new from this side to here. It's I like it. I like it. One of the great gifts of unity, in my experience, has been the idea of affirmative prayer and affirming what we know to be true, as opposed to begging and asking and pleading for something. To affirm who we are, to affirm what we know for our lives, and then hanging on to that affirmation. So join me now, and I invite you to affirm something for yourself. So traditionally, we would lead with the affirmative prayer, but I'm going to invite each of you to affirm something for yourself, something that you know to be true for yourself, or something that you know to be true in the world. Something could be, I am love, or I see love everywhere I go, I see happiness, whatever that is. I invite you to affirm something for yourself, and we'll just have a few moments of silence in that and change things up a little. All right, so thank you. And so it is. And another gift from unity has been silence, which is what I wanted to do here. So the part of the 5-step prayer process is moving into silence from meditation. And so today my reading is from Adyashanti, Emptiness Dancing Selected Dharma Talks. And this is silence. So if you'd like, you can close your eyes and listen to the words, or you can stare off into space, whatever you would like to do. The waves of mind demand so much of silence, but she does not talk back, does not give answers nor arguments. She is the hidden author of every thought, every feeling, every moment. Silence. She speaks only one word, and that word is this very existence. No name you give her touches her, captures her. No understanding can embrace her. Mind throws itself at silence, demanding to be let in, but no mind can enter into her radiant darkness, her pure and smiling nothingness. The mind hurls itself into sacred questions, but silence remains, unmoved by the tantrums. She asks only for nothing. Nothing. But you won't give it to her because it is the last coin in your pocket, and you would rather give her your demands than your sacred and empty hands. Everything leaps out in celebration of mystery, but only nothing enters the sacred source, the silent substance. Only nothing gets touched and becomes sacred, realizes its own divinity, realizes what it is without the aid of a single thought. Silence is my secret, not hidden, not hidden. Get out of the way. That's for me to get out of the way.
Running round, fixing this and that, giving it up to God, then taking it back. Just release and let it go. You don't even have to think about it no more. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out the way and let God do his thing. You look like the weight of the world's on your back. Just take a deep breath and cut yourself some slack. All that drama ain't good for you. You couldn't change what is if you wanted to. So get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out the way and let God do his thing. Shine and the river's gonna flow. The tide's gonna rise without your say-so. The universe is working and the good is flowing. You don't plant a seed, then dig it up to see if it's growing. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out the way and let God do his thing. Get out of the way. Get out of the way.
Okay. Wow, how do you follow that? Catch. How can anybody catch when I can't throw? So you will notice that the people who caught those objects did not stop and do an advanced calculation about the trajectory and the effect of gravity and all that good stuff. They just reached out intuitively and caught the ball, right? And we do that. Even when we're kids, just learning how to reach out and catch the ball, we need to be coached, but the people who are coaching us do that from their knowledge of the mechanics of ball catching, right? Just sort of an innate knowledge that we have. And we have learned that over many years of experiencing and observing how things move, experiencing it, feeling it, touching it, smelling it, all those good things, our five senses. Classical physics, yes? And we have understood the world using classical physics for centuries, millennia even. And then, maybe 100 years or so ago, after science has advanced and scientists have got hold of more knowledge and got powerful microscopes and powerful telescopes, and they can see more and more of the bigness and more of the littleness. And they started going down in there. And then people like Max Planck and Albert Einstein started delving into this little world of littleness, and everything got different. Everything got very different because all the classical physics that we knew explains all our reality didn't apply down there. You know, we used to think that atoms were the smallest particles, and then they discovered that atoms were composed of things that were composed of things that were composed of things, all the way down there. And when they got down there, they found that the rules and laws that we applied to classical mechanics of physics, the things we knew about how things work, didn't apply anymore. There was something missing, something amiss. So at the subatomic level, we didn't have that history, that experience, that knowledge, and how to observe all these measurements of things. And so they had to go into theory, which is mathematics, to explain how all this works. And then once they explain it in mathematics, then they try and reinterpret it so we can get it in reality. But anyway, that's what quantum mechanics or quantum physics is all about. And scientists now think that quantum mechanics is the answer. The problem is they really don't know what the questions are yet. Ever been like that in your life? Yeah, what are the questions? I don't know. So Niels Bohr, who was one of the earliest researchers in the field, said, if anyone who can think about quantum mechanics without getting dizzy has not understood the first word of it. Yeah, so the granddaddy of all quantum weirdness and the central mystery of all this has been demonstrated in something called the double slit experiment. Anybody know about that one? Good. Good. So I'm going to be able to fool you. I'm going to try and explain it, and I will no doubt get dizzy, But to the best of my knowledge, thank you. I'll explain it enough, hopefully, that you'll begin to grasp a little bit something about it. So the double slit experiment is, suppose you have, the machines that pump out tennis balls or baseballs so you can do batting practice. Say you have a miniature machine like that. You have it in a room with a white wall on the back. And this little machine is going to pump out, instead of baseballs, it's going to pump out tiny balls of paint. And you're going to bring a screen into the room with a vertical slit in it. And you're going to pump little tiny balls of paint out of this machine at the screen. And many of them will stick to the screen, but some of them will go through the slit. And they will land on the back wall. And they will make a pattern, the little paint drops, a line corresponding to the vertical slit. Make sense? Okay, now you're going to bring in a screen with two slits in it, and you're going to pump these little balls of paint at it, and some of them are going to stick to the wall behind, and some are going to stick on the screen. But you're going to look at the wall behind, and what are you going to see? Two vertical lines corresponding to the two slits. Okay, now instead of paintballs, we're going to pump little subatomic particles at the screen, okay? Single slit. Some of them are sticking to the screen, some of them are going through the slit, and they are forming a vertical line corresponding to the slit. Now you're going to bring in that double-slitted screen, and you're going to pump those particles at the screen. Some of them are going to stick to the screen, some of them are going to go through the right-hand slit, some of them are going to go through the left-hand slit, and their back wall, they're going to form two vertical lines. You'd think so, wouldn't you? But guess what? They formed 5 vertical lines. And the scientists looked at this and they said, say what? Yeah. And they looked at it and they said, well, there's something must be interfering. The particles must be doing something when they go through these slits and forming an interference pattern. So when you drop a pebble in a pond and it ripples, and if you drop 2 pebbles in the pond, they're going to send ripples out and they're going to cross each other. And sometimes they're going to cancel each other out, and sometimes they're going to reinforce each other. And they're going to form a pattern of light, dark, which is what they're seeing on the wall. So the scientists said, these particles are acting like waves. And so scientists have come to the conclusion that particles are both particles and wave at the same time. So then what they did is they decided to put a camera on the back of the screen so that they could see these particles coming through and see what they did to become waves. And guess what? They stopped becoming waves and became particles again. Whoa. So this great conclusion was the particles and waves are the same thing. And that when you observe the particle and wave duality, it collapses the wave and becomes particles. So I was going to call this talk Collapsing the Waves, but I knew that would be, confusing. So I called it Influencing the Outcome instead. Because when you observe something, it influences the outcome. So each particle has this wave quality. So the particles are actually moving along the wave. So this teeny, teeny infinitesimal particle is doing this, and it actually is a wave. But because it's also a particle, you've got to say, where is this particle on the wave? Well, a fellow named, is it Niels Bohr? Wasn't it? Was another fellow. I think it was Niels. I don't know. Anyway, he came up with this probability theory, that in probability, the wave was likely at the peak, the particle was likely at the peak of the wave, and less probable to be at the valley of the wave, right? So here's a wave that's got two peaks in it, maybe 5 or 6, but the particle is probably at the peak of the wave, but it's also probably at this peak of the wave. So the particle is probably in 2 places at the same time. And what's going to make it become in just one place at the same time? You're going to be looking at that. And that's going to be the real one. See how weird life is at that quantum level? And all our bodies are made up of these particles. Everything is made up of the particle. So Heisenberg is another scientist, and he came up with something called the uncertainty principle. So that when we wanted to measure this particle on the wave, we could either measure how fast it was going, or we could measure where it was, not both. So you can know where something is or how fast it's going. And I don't know what use this might be to you, except the next time you get pulled over for speeding, and the officer says to you, do you know how fast you were going? You can say, no, but I know where I was. So when we move from the math to the reality, do you see the implication of this wave collapsing for us, and for what we teach? Do you see how it supports what we've been teaching all this time? That what we focus our attention on becomes the reality. Isn't that amazing? Scientific quantum physics is now proving what we've been teaching. When we observe something, we make it real. We didn't see it because it was real. It became real because we saw it. Isn't that amazing? So I want you to not look at the back of the room. Yeah, you can't play. So, is there a clock at the back of the room? Don't look. And while you sit in the unknowing and the unlooking, there is a probability that there is a clock at the back of the room. And I'm using probability and possibility almost interchangeably here. And there is a probability that there is not a clock at the back of the room. Okay, so turn around and look. So now you have looked, and there no longer is a probability that there is not a clock at the back of the room, because you collapsed that wave and made a reality of it. Yeah? Ooh. And then there's the thought experiment. You've probably heard of Schrodinger's cat. Now, all you cat lovers, this is a thought experiment. Nobody ever did this. But you put a cat in a box. And in the box, you also put a cyanide capsule, the life expectancy of which you do not know. And you close the box. And you know that at some point, the cyanide capsule will dissolve and will release poisonous gas into the box, and the cat will die. Until you look in the box, that cat is both alive and dead at the same time, right? And when you look in the box, the cat is either alive or dead. This is called influencing the outcome. And we influence every outcome. Every outcome we influence. So we get back to the fact that quantum mechanics supports our teaching, that we focus our attention on, we make that a reality in our experience. And it's not necessarily a reality for anybody else. Your reality is not my reality. There's not just one reality. We're all making it up all the time. And the more conscious we get, the more we make up what we want, right? This is what the law. We call it the law of mind action. It's the law of attraction. It's the law of God, if you like, divine law. And in Unity, we talk about divine law. So let's talk about what a law is. A law is something that is true all the time for everyone in every circumstance. For all people, is completely impersonal. So when we talk about God as law, we have to realize that God doesn't have favorite people or a favorite country or a favorite football team. And God will not be influenced by our needs and our prayers and our begging, and even by the fact that we're very, very good people. None of that matters because God is impersonal. It's a law. And again, for us, we call that the law of mind action, which is mind, idea, expression. That is, an idea planted in mind must manifest. How about we say that to make that real? How about we affirm that? After me, mind, idea, expression. An idea planted in mind must manifest. Must manifest. It's a law. It's a law. And anyone can use that law. Anyone can use that law. Good people, bad people. We can use the law for good or for evil. Like the law of electricity or the law of gravity, anybody can use the law of mind action. And we can be completely selfish with that law if we want to. We can use it to acquire all the things we want and cuddle them close to ourselves and isolate ourselves and build up walls to keep everybody away from it and turn off the TV and the internet and isolate ourselves so that we don't know what's going on in the world and we're totally unaffected by it. We can use the law for all of that. And God will cooperate because God is law. Right? And equally in unity, we say that God is love. God is love and law. Right? Yeah, right. And just as we can use the law that is God, we can use the love that is God because it's everywhere, equally given, in all places, at all times, available to everybody. So God is love and law. So again, we can use the law for evil or for selfish purposes, but unless we use the law that is God, and it's directed by the love that is God in all our choices, we will never experience the possibility, the probability of all we can be, of our divinity. Yeah. We can only experience that when we observe it and acknowledge it. God is love, God is law, and it's all available right here and responding to me. We are infinitely powerful beings, infinite, and we are one with each other. And our oneness is what God is to me. Are you familiar with holograms? If we take a holographic image and cut it in half, we do not get half an image. We get a whole image half size. If we cut that holographic image into 100 pieces, we get 100 whole and complete images, 1/100th the size. Think of us 8 billion people on planet Earth as being holographic images in the image and likeness of God. Right? Everyone is part of the whole. Everyone is needed. God is incomplete without you. Yeah? How can you ever think of yourself as anything less than perfect? I'm going to ask Sharon now to lead us in singing that song. Amen. As our meditation.
How could any beautiful. How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell me I was anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell me I was less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that my loving is a miracle? How deeply I'm connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell them they were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell them they were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that their loving is a miracle? How deeply they're connected to my soul.
Let's just take a few moments to sit in the silence and reflect upon our wholeness and realize that each of us is a vital and necessary part of the whole. And so we set aside our doubts about ourselves, our thoughts of insufficiency, of not enoughness, of unworthiness, and know that what we are is divine, a necessary part of the completeness that we call God. I invite you to take a deep, deep breath and just allow that truth to permeate your very being. Say with me, I am divine. I am God. I am love. I am law. I am one with all that is. And so it is. Amen.
Yes.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
found out yesterday from Nico, who's very sweetly filling in for another church.
the mic.
Oh, sorry. What am I doing? Sorry. I'll
Was
tell
that
a
a
shorter.
scolding?
How about that was a scolding.
That was
yes.
it kind of seemed like a, use the mic.
No, this is lovely. So for this week's solo, I chose a song from the musical Rent, which is called 525,600 Minutes. Some people will know it. Essentially, it's about choosing what to see, choosing what you want to focus on, and how you're going to spend the minutes in a year. So yeah, I think it kind of fits, which is sweet. Great talk, by the way. Thank you. Perfectly confusing. I loved it. It was awesome. I love it. 525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments so dear, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter, in strife, in 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love? How about love? Measuring love. Seasons of love. Seasons of love. Yeah. 525,600 minutes. 525,000 journeys to plan. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure the life of a woman or a man? In truths that she learned, or in times that he cried, in the bridges he burned, or the way that she died. 'Cause it's time now to sing out, though the story never ends. Let's celebrate, remember a year in the life of Reverend. Remember that. Love. Remember the love. Remember the love. Seasons of love. Seasons of love. Seasons of love. Do you guys want to take a chorus with me for the Remember the Love? Ready? Remember that. Love. Remember the love. Remember that. Love. Measure in love. Seasons of love. Beautiful. Seasons of love. Seasons of seasons of love. Seasons of one more. Seasons of very nice. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Joshua. Yeah. Rev. Come on. Welcome to Unity, where we put cats in a box with us. That was so good. So I'm sitting there listening to this great talk. Thank you. And I was remembering, where I started, which was affirmative prayer. And what did I say? That we don't pray to a God outside of ourselves, ask for. I had no idea what the talk was about today, or did I? Because at some point I did go through the slideshow, because I get the slideshow sent to me so that I know what's happening. And so at some point I went through the slideshow, and I must have read the talk title, and the seed was planted. So we had never discussed what the talk was today, anything like that. Yet that just came through me in that moment that I wanted to address this thing. Blows my mind sometimes how much we're connected. Yes, how much we're connected. Thank you, Lan. Funny story. A couple of weeks ago, I'm in my prosperity of theology class. Or maybe it's the theology of prosperity. It doesn't matter. And we were talking about the subatomic, et cetera, because we were reading some Fillmore. And Charles Fillmore, for those that don't know, the co-founder of Unity, was onto this stuff way back in the 1900s. And it also reminded me of Wallace D. Wattles. There is this thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original place we can influence that, right? Through our thoughts. So all of this stuff was happening in the early 1900s in New Thought. And so we were talking about subatomic, and subatomic means smaller than an atom, for those that don't know. Atoms are made of protons, neutrons, and electrons. Protons and neutrons are made of even smaller particles called quarks, or quarks, however you want to say that. And one of my classmates was making this joke, and they were like, so God is watching us, in theory, and it's like, oh my God, they discovered atoms. We need to create something smaller than atoms now so that they can discover that next, right? So now that we have quarks, now we got to find the next thing that God is, influencing us to go find as we dig deeper and go smaller. Anyhow, I apologize for that. Going off on a tangent there. Today, Sunday, May 15th at 1 o'clock, right here at Unity of Vancouver Island in Nanaimo, in person, and in Zoom. Is Zoom happening today? No, there is no Zoom. So in person only, we will have Joshua Holloway and Nico Rhodes together. Yeah. Yeah. And it's $20 to come out and participate in that. Monday, Magic at the Met, Unity, Vancouver Island in Victoria at the First Metropolitan Church, room 119, May 16th. The Power of Forgiveness workshop with Reverend Vicki Vanderhorst is from 1 to 3, and this is tomorrow, correct? And you don't have to pre-register, is that right? So you don't need to be pre-registered to come out. You can just show up to this event if you're in the Victoria area. And then May 23rd, the First Met is closed. May 30th is game night. Have a game, bring a game. The AGM, the annual general meeting. Woo, woo. I'm so excited. I know I am. I am. It's so awesome. I'm excited. Well, you think I'm going to say I'm excited because it's my last year on the board. That's not it, though. I'm excited because it's the 1-year anniversary of Unity of Vancouver Island, and it's amazing since our AGM, right? It's like what we have accomplished in the last year. And all of the lead up to that and all the discussions and everything that has gone on and had to be done in order to create and to continue to create this, that's what I'm excited about. And it's my last day on the board. But there's going to be annual reports, year-end financial statements, elections of new board members, revisions to bylaws. I mean, come on! What more could you ask for in an AGM? That's next Sunday at noon on Zoom, correct? Only on Zoom. Spirit groups, Unity Photography Spirit Group. Oh, hey, that sounds awesome. Seeing and Capturing Your World with Awe and Wonder with Dave Tyler, 8 sessions. And when does that begin? Tomorrow. Begins tomorrow at 2 p.m. And depending on weather, so it'll either be on Zoom or outing, depending on the weather. To register, there's an email address on your screen or in the newsletter, I'm sure, davidtyler0104@gmail.com. And another spirit group, Foundations, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time on Zoom. That begins Tuesday, May 24th. Join Reverend Patricia and Sharon McLeod for this 8-week refresher on an introduction to the meat of Unity's teachings. Awesome. And you can register at minister@unityvancouverisland.com. June 5th, concurrent services in 3 communities, Comox Valley at the Lion's Den. I will be speaking there, followed by Super Sunday. Oh, I get soup. That's awesome. In Nanaimo, here in Nanaimo, it'll be with Reverend Vicki, and in Victoria, Reverend Patricia will be headed down to Victoria, and they'll have music with Michael Drislane as well, and Bright Spirits, fellowship and more. Here there'll be Nico and Laurel, and fellowship following that. Awesome. Ongoing events, second and fourth Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, prayer circle at the Spiritual Center in Comox. We have seated Tai Chi in Nanaimo, beginners for Thursdays at 10 a.m. Advanced is Tuesdays at 10. Thursdays at 10:30, A Course in Miracles.
Sorry, Thursdays at 10 is no longer happening.
Let's go back.
We went through this last week.
Seated Tai Chi in Nanaimo is no longer happening on Thursdays. There is classes Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Thursdays at 10:30 here in Nanaimo is A Course in Miracles with Leanne. Fridays at 7 is Board Games Night in Nanaimo. And you can visit unityvancouverisland.com for all of the details in all 3 centers. You can get everything you need to know there. Oh, volunteer opportunities. This is another thing to be really excited about, is what we can do for each other. It's like, come on. Please refer to your weekly newsletter for all the ways in which you can contribute to the health and growth of Unity Vancouver Island. Talk the talk, share your insights. There's no fellowship this week or next week on Zoom. Usually after service, there's a Zoom call for those that would like to join in. That won't be happening today or next week. And this is our opportunity to thank ourselves and each of you for the continued abundance that we experience here at Unity of Vancouver Island. And if you would wish to donate, you can do that at donations@unityvancouverisland.com is the email address if you want to send through Interact? No.
E-transfer.
Thank you. E-transfer. That's what I was looking for. You can also go onto our site and find your way to PayPal and do it that way. And you can mail a check to 2325 East Wellington Road, or you can drop one off in a basket here on your way out today. Gratitude is for Anna Harvey for her delightful and insightful workshop on how to love a cactus. Yes. Thank you, Anna, for that. And gratitude goes for the pancake team. Last week was pancake day number 2. Oh, and Gilles has baked a chocolate cake for today, which unfortunately for all of those out in Cyberland, we cannot. We could do a hologram maybe of the chocolate cake and then cut it into 100 pieces, and you'd have 100 whole, small, tiny versions of the chocolate cake, but you won't be able to eat it. There. In your imagination, you could imagine eating the chocolate cake. Or you could go to a store and just buy a chocolate cake and say that you manifested one in your life. Today's prayer guide is Margaret. For those that are here in person, you can join Margaret in the prayer room for one-on-one prayer if you are called to do so. And we have some kids here today. We do. Hello, hello. You want to show us? Oh, look at this. And please. Hey. Yay! Woohoo! And join me for our children's blessing. We see the divine light shining as you We love and appreciate you exactly the way you are. And our prayer for protection. The light that is God surrounds me. I am one with the light. The love that is God enfolds me. I am one with the love. The power that is God protects me. I am one with the power. The presence that is God watches over me. I am one with the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well, and so it is. Amen.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With love as our center, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Thank you very much.